Good day. This is John from DAM Machine Shop Inc. Damn Best Racing Carburetor. Today I'm going to review, I'll call it review, the second of my 6 patents. Final number is 253B1. It was issued August 28th, 2001, which is just before September 11th. There was a lot going on then. That was the issue date. I filed this patent in September 21 of 1999. I'm not going to read the first few pages as it's reviewing up in front, because they're exactly the same as in our patent 251. So if you want to hear my explanation of the figures that are scrolling as I speak, go back to the previous 251 patent, and I spent quite a bit of time discussing that. In the patent law, which is where we're going to pick up on this one, this is what they call continuation part. Patents are unbelievable. It's like a college doctorate paper. The amount of effort it goes through to do one of these. We have to file and review from what they call prior art, and some of the prior art, if you went down the street, you would know had nothing to do with it. One quick example on something that has nothing to do with it. We have a knurl inside of our metering blocks, and they had me explain the difference between a auger screw for a grain mill and a fuel mixing device. That's how absurd it is, but you have to respond. What's in front of you right now, and this is where the patent, this particular one, continuation part, picks up, is some really crude drawings of our gas turbine jet engine nozzle, where at different engine speeds, and this is with the compressor, that can't be vehicle speed because sometimes they're wide open sitting on the ground, but because of vehicle speed, engine speed, and power, the straight part, number 82 in front of you, had a barrel valve going in it, and depending on where it was, it would atmospheric pressure, whether it be at ground level or at 37,000 feet, the barrel valve would rotate. Also vehicle speed, where it's at basically 0 miles an hour until even a couple hundred miles an hour at ground level, would have a different barrel valve setting than, for instance, 600 miles an hour plus, because it was also for planes above Mach. There's a lot going into jet engine technology and where you take the air. As you go quicker, you have to take it off the boundary layer of a plane, and most people in the fuel industry don't know these things, so we got into designing gas turbine nozzles for jet engines. I was actually invited, as I had said in the previous one, video on 251, to the United States Test Engine Facility in Colorado Springs. The person who was director at the time was Jerry Sturmer. Anybody can review that. And as I said in the last one, which I think is really funny, when I got there, Jerry himself was my guide for the day. They let me know that that's a reservation. It does not pertain to the laws of the United States. They can shoot me dead and bury me in the backyard. Nobody will care. And there were some odd things going on out there. So I knew that I was going to be a good boy that day. As I'm listening to some of the stories, I guess the patents are more about the stories than the language. I very rarely find somebody, including myself, that finds patent reading fun, especially if today a major part of my business is fuel delivery for different types of vehicles still, and we do have the experiences going to these places. So one more story about the test facility. They brought me down where they test the thrust in the airplane. I had to look through everything. They had an amazing facility. But that goes for all of it would be right now. I'm just going to go over the part as what they brought me in for. So they had an F-15. This is going back a bit. F-15 jet engine in the thrust testing cell. So Jerry brought me back there, and they had other things, titanium helicopter engines, and that's what we were going to test my jet nozzles on. So it brings me down to this never seen before F-15 jet engine in the thrust testing cell. I looked over a little bit, and I completely explained the fuel system on that engine to Jerry. He was absolutely floored that I had never seen this engine before, and I could see all the different parts of the fuel system, low speed, high speed. So that was an amazing day. So next display page is different shapes. They're going to look really familiar to people who do port work, because the air entering from the upstream compressing area going into the burn area, depending on the speed of the plane, as I said before, the shapes are going to end up being very similar to different style of ports because of the air speed and the compressor speed and the burner speed. So having a lot of knowledge in port design, I was able to bring that into and this is the distribution nozzle where the air is going to be entering in from the barrel valve. So depending on the speed of the vehicle and thrust of the engine, the barrel valve would rotate, adding the air and emulsion into the distribution nozzle. And we expect it, because you can hear it now with Elon's rocket stuff, the temperatures would exceed the current stainless steel it was at the time for jet engines. I had to have a metallurgist who was an expert in stainless steel that I consulted with, so we would be changing the end of the jet engine to a different stainless, so we literally wouldn't melt the nozzles off the plane when it was at ground level at full throttle. And if you look at planes with afterburner, there's a lot, that's what they use to call it afterburner, to burn the unburned fuels. So we were going to gather all that in and be able to make thrust out of it. So it was going to make a lot of heat. So the reason why I'm reviewing these is because I can tell these background stories during the same time I'm showing it, because outside of that, reading patents is truly boring. I think what I'm going to do is the same as the last one. All of the printed text, the legalese of the patent, I'm going to post, which is, you can see it scrolling now. And for those that want to actually read it and go back to the original diagrams, they can pause and go back and forth. You can do it on 2 computers. Sometimes it's easier, 2 laptops. Read it and then understand that what we've been involved in fuel systems. I've even done biofuel fuel systems for locomotive trains. So when someone comes to Dan Best to buy a fuel system, I'm not just a guy with a carburetor and a screwdriver. We're leading fuel delivery technology. I've worked for some of the most important companies in the world. And the same with the race teams and engineering for the engine itself. So you can send a question or contact me through the email info1@dambest.com. You can call me at 845-546-2646, or send a text to that number. I definitely encourage people to go on Facebook at dambest.com, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.